Hi guys, this video is going to go through using World Machine with Unreal 4. So what we're going to do is to use Unreal 4 to sculpt a general shape for our landscape. We're then going to put it into World Machine to make it look realistic and use things like the erosion and all the texturing tools that are in there. Then we're going to put it back into Unreal 4 to obviously use as a game ready thing. So the first thing I want to show you is this technical guide here. So if you look up Unreal 4 landscape technical guide, it'll give you kind of recommended sizes for setting up your landscape. So we're going to make a 2K landscape like this, which means we need 63 quads per section, 2x2 components and 16x16 total components. So if I go to the landscape here in UE4, you'll find all this stuff. So we're going to start with a new landscape, and we want 63x63, 2x2 and 16x16. That will give us this 2017x2017. So let's create that and start making a landscape. So what I'm going to do is turn this up a bit, because it'll take me ages with it that small, and I'm just going to start sculpting a landscape. So I've got some mountains, and what we'd probably want to do is have some kind of playable areas as well. I'm going to sculpt some kind of a riverbed or something through here. Maybe we could have this all raised down a bit as the sea. And some of the tools you might want to use for this are obviously the sculpt tool. You'll definitely want to use the smooth tool to smooth things off. The ones that are kind of really useful for building playable spaces are the flatten tool. Let me speed this up a bit. So the flatten tool, I can create nice kind of flat areas like that. And ramp tool's pretty useful as well, so I can build a ramp up to my flat area. Make it a bit wider. And then I can have a ramp up to this one. And maybe even a ramp up here. So those are good for the flatten and the ramp tool are good for creating nice little playable spots. So yeah, those tools are good for creating little playable spots, and when you're creating mountains, the erosion tool is pretty useful for kind of making them look a bit more mountainous. So it just kind of makes them a bit steeper and you get this kind of interesting fall off. So although we're going to put this into World Machine and do quite a lot of work in World Machine, you still want to make something that looks kind of vaguely realistic. So I'll just pause this and spend 5 minutes sculpting something. Okay, so I've sculpted something that I can get into World Machine. Obviously I've only spent a few minutes on this, but I've got a bit of a landscape and I've worked out a bit of a route. So I'm going to have a big volcano here in the middle of the map, because why not? This is going to be water, or the sea, so this is going to be like a waterfall falling into the sea. This will be a beach, these will be cliffs. You're going to sort of maybe I don't know, land here or something, work your way up here, and then you go around this bit. This will be a river up here, and then there's a few little sort of flattened out bits for you to walk over down here, and there'll be a bridge across the river, and then you'll work your way here and go into the volcano to do something. So when I bring this into World Machine, I want to make this stuff look like reasonable, realistic mountains, but I also want to make sure that the bits that I've set out to be kind of playable don't get too messed up, so I can still kind of get up these ramps and stuff, but I just want them to look more like, I don't know, the side of a hill rather than just a random ramp. Okay, so to get my height field, get this data, this landscape data out of Unreal 4, all you need to do is make sure you're in Sculpt, and you just right click here and do Export to File. And what you want to do is to save this out as a height map R16 file, so a 16-bit height map. Let's call this height map from UE4, you can call it whatever you want, and start up World Machine. Okay, so we're inside World Machine. We need to load in our height map, so we need to go to Generator, and this old floppy disk icon, file input. Let's go into there, hit load, and we'll find our file from Unreal. So we just load it in, and we want to, in fact, let's just hit OK on that. What we want to do is we want to go into these world extent settings and make sure that everything is set up. So if you remember this document on the Unreal site, we set our map to 2017 by 2017. So let's set it to 2.017 by 2.017 kilometers. For now I'm going to set the resolution to 1024 by 1024 just because that's what I like to use to kind of get fast build times. Once we export this, we need to make sure that's set to 2017 by 2017, and that'll be really important. Okay, let's set our maximum elevation to, let's say, 512. Okay, let's go back in here now. So we've loaded our file in. If you hit place from current, it'll make the if you have a look at this, in fact let me open up another window. Okay, so here's my map, but I'm only seeing a tiny bit of my map. So all I need to do is come into my file input and hit place from current, and it'll scale everything correctly. I also want to change the elevation a little bit. So if I do specific elevation range, now if I set that from 0 to 512, that'll use the full range. But I want to quite use the full range because I want World Machine to have a bit of leeway to make some things a bit higher and some things a bit lower. So I'm going to set that to, let's say, well, the bottom can stay quite low. I don't need to go down much. Let's say 20. And let's go to 430. So that means that I've still got another 80 meters or so that I can raise stuff up if I want to. Okay, so this is what we've got. Right, so now we need to start modifying this in World Machine to look a bit more like a real terrain. So the way that we use World Machine is generally we pick areas on the landscape and then we perform operations on those specific areas. So let's say that I want to add a little bit more detail into the mountains, but I don't want to add too much detail into everything, so I don't want to mess up all these flat areas that I made. for the player to walk on. I just want to add some more spikes and peaks into the top of the mountains. So what I can do is I can select a mask just for the top of those mountains by going to selectors and select height. If I come into my select height, at the moment I've got everything low down selected, so I've got everything from 0 to 256 meters. What I want is more like this. I'll maybe adjust my fall off a bit, so I've just got the kind of high up bits. So you can see the areas that are white kind of match with the bits that are high. And what I'm going to do is create some noise for those. So generators, I'll use let's use an advanced purlin. So this advanced purlin will just give us some noise. We want things to be more spiky than this, so we're going to go more towards this end, kind of hills, boulders. What else? We can turn our elevation sensor maybe down a little, or in fact, let's go higher up because we'll average these out. So let's get this quite high. Steepness looks good. Everything else looks fine. If we want a bit less detail, we can always make our octaves a little bit lower. I think that's probably going to be better a bit lower actually. Maybe let's try 5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to combine these two things. So we need a combiner, and we're going to combine our original output from Unreal with this advanced purlin. So if you have a look at this now, at the moment this is set to average, so it's going to, if I set it down here it's going to be this one, if I set it here it's going to be this one, if I set it here it's going to be this one, and if I set it somewhere in the middle it's going to be kind of a combination of the two. I think that's probably alright for the moment, but I only really wanted to do this on the high up areas. So I've selected those high up areas. All I need to do is put that into this as a mask. So it's only going to combine these two things where the white is here. Okay, so you can see now that's working. If I come in here, let me just lock this by hitting F. If I come in here, then I can change kind of how that's happening. So now it's just on top of the peaks. Now it's kind of a bit more of the mountains, and down here it's the whole thing. So I could just not have the sea and the cliffs and the river, but I think I want it kind of here somewhere. And also I'm going to go into my advanced purlin, and I'm not quite sure I like this noise, so let's just play with this a bit. Okay, that'll do for now. I'll just hit this big green button and do a quick build to see what I've got. So doing that, I can see my noise is far too extreme on all of that. Oops, let's just bolster the fall off a little bit and make this a bit higher still. And let's go more towards hills. Come down with the octaves, build again. Okay, that's gone too far the other way now. So I'll just keep on playing with this stuff until I'm happy with how it all looks. Okay, that looks better. I'd say that's okay for now. So what I'll do now is I'll do kind of the opposite of that. I'll add a little bit of noise to like the floor, but just not kind of as extreme as this. Let's just increase the steepness of these a bit. Okay, that'll do for now. So let's create another advanced purlin. And let's do another select height. This time, let's just do the low down bits. So in fact, what I could do is just hit invert like that. Maybe just fall off a bit on this though. And I'm just going to do exactly the same thing. Oops, so that goes into the mask. File input still the same. And so look at this advanced purlin. I just want a little bit less noise on this. Our elevation center down. Okay. Let's try detail on this one. Okay, let's say that's fine for now. Finally, what we'll do is we need to combine these two things together. So let's get another combiner and combine both of those. And this one, let's set it to let's try detail again. Okay, this looks okay. Let me try swapping those inputs around. See if we get something a bit different. I preferred it the way it was before. Okay, let's say that's done. I would definitely want to mess around with this stuff a bit more, but so that this doesn't go on too long, we'll continue. Right, so this can be all of our, if I group that, I can call that my generator. Generator. Let's give it a colour. Okay, and what I want to do now is we'll come a bit high up to that. Let's see. What I want to do now is to do some kind of erosion and stuff. So let's get our natural filters and put an erosion filter on. So this is what's going to probably make it really look quite realistic. We can try some of the presets. The classic world machine erosion usually looks okay. So this is definitely looking better. That's too much though. Okay, so in this erosion we've got two different kinds of erosion. We're going to use channeled erosion, which will give us those kind of channels as though the sort of slurry in the the water has come down off the mountains over years and years. Our erosion base is going to be how long that happened for, so in a way it's going to be how extreme the effect is. The hardness is the hardness of the actual rock. So the harder this rock is to start with, the less it's going to erode, just because it's going to be more resistant to that erosion. Sediment carry amount is how much kind of rubbish there is that comes down in those channels. So the more of this there is, the more it's going to kind of erode those channels out. So you usually want that not too high, or things start to get really extreme. The strength is just kind of the strength of all of this effect. And then we've got this geological time enhancement, and this just kind of forwards all of this stuff on by years. So this might be after a few thousand years, and then this is after a few 100,000, and as we get up here, this is how it's going to look after millions of years of this erosion. So we probably want that around 0 or not even on at all. Let's just set this to 0. Oops. I think I'm just not going to use this because it's going to destroy my landscape too much. So we've got the channel depth, how deep those channels are, and the post-channeling erosion. So once those channels are dug out, how much are they going to be then kind of softened back down? I think we want this reasonably high. Let's see what that looks like now. Okay, this looks better, but I think the erosion is still a little bit too much. So I'm just going to increase the hardness of the rock. Okay, that looks better. What I might do now is I wanted to have like a beach down here. So this was going to be C around here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the height again. So select height. I'm going to select the height from this combiner this time, because this is the sort of latest height field we've got. And I just want the really low down stuff now. So probably like this. And I'll do a coastal erosion on that one. So let's do some coastal erosion there, but let's just do the coastal erosion where this mask is. So let's have a look at our coastal erosion. And in fact, if we use global water level, we can have a look at our global water level where it is at the moment and put that about the right area. So let's say down here. And what we'll do now is we'll turn this off, but we've got that height in there, and actually we can turn off show water level now. So we can create beaches in there, like this. Let's build that. Okay, so we can carry on picking heights and picking slopes and stuff. What we'll do now though, just to finish it off, is colour it in. So let's just group that as erosion. Give it a different colour. So now we want to colour it. Okay, so we're going to put snow on the top of the mountains. We're going to have we're going to have sand really low down here. We want kind of slurry and stuff coming off the mountains, so like slate falling off them. We want rock on the slopes, and the rest is going to be grass. So we need a load of colours for that. If we go to favourites, we can do a colour generator here, and we're just going to pick some colours. So this is going to be our grass. Say like that. Then we're going to have some rock. We're going to have some kind of slatey stuff falling off. And we'll have some beaches. And finally some snow. Okay, so now we've got all our colours, we just need to put our colours on the correct part of the landscape now. So, first of all, we're going to need, in order to see what we're doing, we need an overlay view. So let's go to, where are we, output, and find an overlay view. And this overlay view will allow us to plug in a height field, so that's going to be from this, but also it's going to allow us to plug in some colour. So for example, if I plug my height field in there, and my green colour in there, now my landscape is all green. So now what I want to do is to tell it that the beaches should be yellow. So I should have a beach map from my coastal erosion. So what I can do is I can make a combiner. And I'm going to combine my grass with my beaches, and what I want to do is to leave it on average, but turn strength all the way up to 1. So sorry, this isn't my beach. Where's my beach? There's my beach. So what this will do now is just take all of this colour and none of this colour, but I just want to say, I want it to do this, I want it to use all this colour and none of this one, but only where the beaches are. So I can use my beach map here as an input on that, and now it's just colouring where the beaches are. Let's put that into the overlay view, and now you can see I've got yellow beaches. Okay, now I want to make my cliffs white, so this time what I want to do is select a slope, stuff that's sloped. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug my select slope into my overlay view just so that I can kind of visualise what's going on. So at the moment this is just selecting all the flat stuff. I want to do the opposite of that. I want to select all of the slanted stuff like this. And I want my fall off quite a bit lower for this, I think. Okay, so that looks good. Now I want to do the same thing again, so I need a combiner, and I'm going to combine everything that I had before, so my grass plus my beach, with my rock colour. And I'm going to do that just where these slopes are. Okay. So the next thing is I've got this is going to be like sleet running off the, or shale running off the mountains. So this time I'm going to use, what I've got in my erosion is I've got a flow map, and a deposition map. So the flow map's where the stuff flows down, the deposition map is where it ends up. So I'll combine those two things together. And this time we'll add these things together. So we've got our flow plus our deposition. Now we're just going to do the same again. Combine everything that we had before, so the grass plus the beach plus the cliffs with our shale, and we're going to do that just on the bits where we've got this map. So I'm just going to change the colour of this, I think, see if I can make it a bit more visible. Okay, finally we need to put some snow on top of our mountains. So for this we're going to use a select height. Oops, sorry, wrong thing. A select height. And we're going to take, let's just put that into the overlay view so I can see what's going on. And we just want the stuff that's really high up. Snow's just going to be at the top, like this. And then we're going to use another combiner, combine everything we have up to this point with our snow, but just on these bits that are high up. Okay, so we'll say that's done for colouring that in. Let's do a build. This is what I've got. So it doesn't look amazing, but it definitely looks better than what we had in Unreal 4. And you can see how if you spent some time on this, you can sort of sculpt landscapes, but you can still make things that are quite realistic, and much more realistic than you'd ever really sculpt in Unreal 4. And hopefully I should still just about have my ramps and stuff in place, so you can see I can still make my way down here, across here. There's going to be a bridge across to there. So I think my route that I wanted my player to take is still fairly intact. Okay. So now we need to get all of this and put it back into Unreal 4. So what we need is a load of outputs so that we can save this stuff off and put it into Unreal 4. And the outputs we're going to use are going to be height outputs. We need one for our height, and then one for our grass, beach, rock, the shale we've got, and the snow. So let's go into the height first. We want to save the height as a raw 16 file. Let's call it height from WM, and we'll just hit save the file every time World Machine's built. We need to make sure that our document saves somewhere, because wherever we save our World Machine file, these outputs are going to save now. Then we've got our snow. We want to just use a normal raw, low precision 8-bit raw file for this. Let's call it grass. Okay. Then we've got, this was beach. This was cliff or rock. Shale. And snow. Okay, now we just need to plug the correct things into all of these. So first of all, our height output is just going to be the last thing that we've modified the height with, which is this. So in fact, let's move all this stuff off here. Let's just grab all of these things and group them. Let's call that colour. Nice pink. So we can actually group all of these as well. Let's keep it neat and call this outputs. That can be grey. Right, so we need a mask for the grass. Now we didn't set up a mask for the grass because the grass just kind of went everywhere. So what I'll do, just to make it easier for this to go into Unreal, I'm going to just create a constant. So I'm just going to go to generator, create constant, plug that in there, and let's make that constant 1 or 512 in this case because it's just the height output. So that's just going to be pure white now. That's fine for the so this is the beach. We just need to find the mask for the beach. Now, mask for our beach was, let me just move this out of the way, was this beach map here. So that's going to go in there. Our mask for the cliffs was this select slope there. Our mask for the what's this? This one's the shale. So that was when we added these things together, the flow map and the deposition map. And finally the snow, we selected this height for the snow. So save, build, and we should have all those maps now. Okay, so these are all those maps saved in here. Okay, I'll stop this video now and I'll do another video showing how we now bring all these maps into Unreal 4 and set that up.